I am attempting a framed soap for the April Soap Challenge Club. This did not go as planned to start it off. So what I wanted to do was create sand, ocean, sky as a frame. So that's what I'm going to pour today, is the base that I then cut up the frame. Inside I was going to do a ship in a bottle and then embed that inside the frame. I thought it'd be really cool to use melt and pour to kind of get that glassy look in the bottle. It did not go well. Yeah. So, yeah, first off, I should not have split it in half. I should have split it in half this way. Needless to say, this was a disaster trying to get the pieces on, and they are all disformed, and yeah, they didn't really work. And my gut was saying, don't do it, Jennifer, just make it all soap dough. So I almost just said screw it and left it at that. But I'm me, and I'm incapable of leaving something at that when I get an idea and it doesn't work. So I went back and redesigned the disc so that it was all soap dough, no melt and pour. And I also cut this disc vertical, not horizontal, so I didn't have to try and attach two pieces this way. And as you can see, turned out much better. So this is my length that will go inside the frame. So today I'm going to again pour the ocean theme, and then tomorrow I will cut the frame and pour a new batch and embed this embed in it. And hopefully it all looks and goes well and looks good, because it was a lot of work. I mean, they're cute, they look like a bottle. I know people, family and friends have been like, well, why didn't you do it sideways and put the sideways boat? Which is more common, because I couldn't create a boat outline sideways that looked like a boat outline. Like, there's so many strings and other things attached, like, that you get in a side view. I could not simplify it in any way that gave me a boat that I liked, and that I thought was easily recognizable. So it was vertical and forward facing. That's what we have. So anyways, let me go prep the base and then I'll pour, and fingers crossed that this all works and turns out well. So here is the beach soap. So now I have to cut the frame. So the million-dollar question is, how thick do I do the frame? So this is the Embed. I was thinking 1/2 inch, but I think that might be too much. I don't know. That would be 1/2 inch on this side. Let me put a little marker. 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. I think that'll work. It doesn't get a ton of space in there, but that's okay. It doesn't really need it. It just needs enough to hold this, so I guess that's what I'll do. There's definitely plenty of room for the 1/2 inch on top and bottom, so 1/2 inch it is. Okay, well, I need to set up my splitter from Custom Crafts. And once I get that set up, we'll come back and we'll cut the frame for this soap. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the bottom, then the top, and then the 2 sides. I actually have a number of videos on creating the frame soap, so I will link those in this video for you. So if you're interested, you can go back and check them out. Last year I had lots of fun with playing with different frames. Most specifically an ombre frame. Okay. There's the sand, the bottom layer. I used cranberry fiber to create the sandy look, and I actually really like it. So that's going to go right in there on the bottom. I'm going to flip this over. And cut the top. That's the top, so I'm going to keep this like this over there so I have the direction correct. And now this is it, so I'm going to flip it and cut this side, and then I'll cut that side. Just have to make sure I keep the sides correct so it all matches up. That is gonna go here. This is just distilled water. I'm just gonna spray the sides. Basically just so it sticks. Okay. And then I get my Embed. It should just fit in there. Whew. Yep, fits barely, but just does, with just enough on either side. Okay. I'm going to put this in the liner in the mold. In place, and like there's no gaps or anything, so Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna go make a really small batch of soap for the infill, which I'm going to attempt to do a dark blue to blue ombre, I think. There's really not a whole lot of soap by the time you add this embed. And then the top will go on. I'll cut it tomorrow, and fingers crossed that it all works. Also, I wanted to show you, because I didn't have these at the time when I showed you the embed. These are all the disc. So that's the cork top, the flag, the ship. Then this was the side of the bottle, which I extruded 2 of and just flipped. And then this was one side, and this was the other side for the sky. And then that was the water. So 5 large discs, and then the 2 small ones to make this embed. I really hope it's worth all the work in the end. I'm excited to just make this soap now and see. You put all that work into it and you're like, okay, what are we gonna get? So some of the blue seeped down on just the very end. This side, pretty together. This side, it looks to me like I just had a tad too much blue and it might have seeped in between, so we'll see. But yeah, let's cut this, see what I have. Okay, so that shifted over. It's not centered. I'm really bummed over that. Otherwise, there's actually no gap. It's pretty darn close to perfect in that regards. I'm just really bummed that it didn't stay centered. Like really bummed. That obviously, that embed was not completely sealed, those 2 pieces, and the blue seeped into there. That side's better. The surf, what I realized, like the inside, it's really like I cut this little piece that I had left over. I wish I had pushed more to the sides. Like I realized that I didn't quite get enough of that for the frame, but it's still cute. It's just a little disheartening that it shifted when you put all that work into, like, there are just so many elements and there was a lot of work that went into it, but oh, I tried. It's not awful. I do like it. I do think it's cute. I just am really bummed over. Let me know what you think.